Are you ready to leave your 9 to 5? What does it take to start a side hustle? How are people making a living from the internet? Act Natural with John and Courtney is here with real stories and honest answers about what it takes to balance work life and family time. This lifestyle podcast explores the entrepreneurial culture in a practical way. Let's shatter that perfect vision of people on Instagram and break down the myths of what you really need to finally start. Tune in to hear these two millennials balance their 6 businesses, nonprofit, small town politics, and a new baby who refuses to sleep through the night. This is Act Natural with John and Courtney.
We are back with the Act Natural podcast with John and Courtney. We are all back with our brand new podcast setup, sounding great. This is a big step up.
This is so exciting.
We're really excited. We were recording into just a mic. Well, it was a recorder, a Zoom recorder, which is a good quality. But finally, we got a nice Rodecaster set up. We are extremely excited. We're actually upstairs in our physical studio now instead of at our house. Big step up. And today, what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about growing pains.
Growing pains. Now, define what growing pains are.
Okay, so growing pains are like those pains that we felt whenever we were young children and we would feel them in our limbs. But they're also the difficulties experienced in the early stages of an enterprise. And in this case, I feel like both definitions of growing pains apply to our podcast.
We have definitely had a lot of growing pains coming from owning nothing and trying to create something out of nothing.
This is something.
This is something
nothing.
really big.
This is something.
Yeah.
This is nothing.
Well, I think it really centers around giving your ideas room to grow into. Do you remember Chapel Ridge?
Chapel Ridge, the apartment complex over by Sonic.
Yeah, we had 4 bedrooms. It was me, Nick, and Cal Crenshaw, the original OG crew. In one of the rooms, I was able to put my makeshift studio. It wasn't even a studio. It was just, this is my office to do whatever we thought that we could do in. It was the first time that I had a space designated for an idea. And I didn't know what I wanted it to be, but I knew that I wanted to give a space to something that I wanted to create. And out of that, it was the most rewarding and freeing thing that I ever did in my life. Because for the first time, there was a space designated for something that was intangible. And that was awesome. It could be whatever it needed to be. I think the next space that we jumped to, that was in the middle of Letters in Motion being started. And then...
It wasn't even the first place for Letters in Motion. Your first place for Letters in Motion was in your bedroom at the house you lived in before then.
What was that? I don't remember that.
I forget the guy's name.
Oh my gosh.
Mark?
Well, yeah. That was a terrible living situation.
That's where Letters in Motion started.
Nick was there too. So we started in that. I was in a little bitty bedroom. And I remembered that you said that you had to get some studying done. And I put up like this table in this no big, like 10 by 10 room.
Yeah. Well, it was a little bit, maybe, I don't know. It felt like it was a little bit more than 10 by 10. And you purchased a fold out table, like one of those like 6 or 8 seater fold out tables.
I remember doing that because you told me, you were like, I got to get some work done. And you're like, no, wait 1 second. And I went to Walmart, bought the table, came back, set it up and said, you can just work here.
Yeah, because you wanted me to hang out with you.
Yeah, I didn't have any friends at that time. You were my only one.
I was your only one. So, okay, that's where Letters in Motion pretty much started, I think. The idea work.
Oh, I have a picture. No, I do, because I have a picture. It was like it was 4 of my main people, my main core group, all in that tiny room around a whiteboard from Walmart. And there's just boxes and boxes of shirts everywhere. We were writing down all the orders from Union University and from Bethel University and all like the college groups that were getting involved. And it was just no space, but we just made it work.
I just remember I was like completing shirt orders at that place, and I just never liked that house.
That was rough because there's dogs that lived in the house.
Yeah, everything smelled, and it was like, this is not a house to hang out in.
No.
This is a house that I can go see you in. We can get some work done, and then we can go to the library or something, because I did not like being there at all. But then afterwards, you moved from there to Chapel Ridge.
Yeah.
And then there was that extra bedroom. And with that, you worked on Letters of Motion more. And I just remember you were editing a lot of editing.
Well, we're getting a lot more jobs. Like Fox Wedding started around that time really heavily. I was working for a guy in Jackson.
It was called something different then.
What was it called? J. Michael Photography. That's what it was called.
Photographs.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah. I love all those companies with like your name photography. And then I was one of those companies. And
100%.
the majority of what I did was working for a production company in Jackson called Lynn Productions. They're great. I mean, they really are.
Incredible.
And I learned a lot from them, and they're still number one. I mean, they're still like do so many great films all around, and I still learn from him now too. I mean, of course we have our own thing, and we're booked up solid, and
I got more into photography than in that space, though. I just remember we took that one picture, like you were like, what would it take for you to get more into photography? And I was like, well, I need my own stuff.
Oh,
and you were like, well, let's order you a camera bag.
Immediately.
And I was like, okay. And then when the camera bag came in, I felt so cool.
Well, it's kind of like this. I mean, we're talking on our new setup.
There's the camera bag right now.
Yeah,
Look,
it's in the background.
right there.
It's kind of like this setup right now. Like we originally started this podcast on a small recorder, and now we have these awesome mics, and it feels like it's our own. It feels like we've reached the next level, and it makes me take it more seriously. Question mark. I took it seriously, but
we took it seriously before, but now we're given the tools. Now we have the professional
and there's something about
tools.
setting the stage, you know, and it goes so much into this growing pains and giving your idea space. You're setting the stage. You're saying this is worth this.
It's just like putting out your clothes before bed. You are setting yourself up for success.
Yeah. But in another term, too, it's saying I might not be ready for this right now, but I'm going to go ahead and give it the room to grow. Like having a young family.
Absolutely.
Like right now, you know, it's a house you grow into.
Let's get the minivan.
Oh, I'm so ready for a minivan. I know you hate minivans, though, don't you?
I'm not a minivan fan.
I think I can.
I'm sans
gosh.
minivan.
I think that hold on. Actually, I think that I have a sound clip for you on our new board.
I'm sans.
Can you say that again, that joke that you just made one more time? I think this is the button
I'm
for
not
it.
the man for the minivan.
Oh. You're hilarious. It's laughing right now. We have sound effects. Oh my goodness. I think that you can make a minivan look cool.
I can make anything look cool.
You look like a soccer mom.
I just don't want that.
You have a really soccer mom feel to you. I think it's great.
I'm 100% soccer mom. Let's go, kids. Let's go get active.
Get in the van. Get your Apple Jacks.
All right, now, who wants Sonic?
Oh God. We're gonna give our kids fast food.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
inevitable.
that's just gonna happen.
We're
You
talking
kids
about
did so good. Let's go get Sonic.
well, it's that concept though, right? I mean, saying, hey, we're not ready for a vehicle of this size, but we're gonna grow into it. It's the
What
same
flavor
thing that.
do you want? Blue.
Oh God. It's the same thing that
Blue's
happened.
not a flavor.
Oh my goodness. Well, ocean water. I was at Sonic the other day, and I was trying to order a water, and I said, I'll have an ocean water. And the dude, it's really rude. He was like, you want an ocean water? I was like, yeah, I like the ocean water. And then he's like, okay. I said, was that regular water, right? It's like, no, that's ocean water. I was thinking, oh, that's carbonated.
Obvi, that's not ocean. That's
Did you
not
just abbreviate?
It saved time.
You did not. I did not like that.
Obvi.
What is up with
Ocean water
you
is like a
abbreviating
bluish,
everything?
like raspberry or bluish coconutty or something drink.
Yeah, I canceled that and got a regular water. Get some H2O up
Get
in
some
there.
crystal.
But that minivan, like I'm not opposed to it. Maybe we'll grow into it. It's the same thing that happened with living at Mark's house. It's a bad situation. I was dumb. I should not have gone into that. But we were smart in our second thing with getting an apartment that had an extra room that we could then designate for Letters of Motion at that time. In our little bitty, I don't know if you would call it a company, like just my hobby in photography.
It was more than a hobby. I mean, It was paying for anything that you did.
Yeah, I mean, that was my living. I don't know. I look
And
at.
it sometimes paid for me too.
Okay, it paid for you quite. Yes, I totally
I need
agree.
groceries.
Yeah, I was your sugar daddy.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I went up to you and I was like, I need groceries. I was like, dang, eating ramen again. Eating expired boxed food that my mom sent with me freshman year, and now I'm a senior and I'm still not eating it.
You know, that's the college story, though, and I think that I'm glad that you had that.
I have no problem.
Did
with
I have
the
that
amount
story
of ramen that I consumed?
You experienced a lot of my college career, if you want to call it, with me. You know, we ate out a lot. But we also made a lot in the phases, the apartments on the university called the phase. We were in phase 1 or 2.
You were in phase 1.
Phase 1. So like,
and I visited you frequently.
Yeah, you were with me a lot of the time. I feel like I went through that same experience. I ate a lot of ramen, but something happened where I had just access to cash. It wasn't a lot, but it was easier to move around, and I put all that money on big ideas that a lot of them failed.
Well, you would like buy like a new lens or a new tool to contribute to your photography.
See, I never
career.
would live. I would eat ramen at the same time. All the money that I ever made would go back towards like furthering the idea that we had.
Yeah, like you spent all that money on the Adobe software.
That was the dumbest freaking. It was not available, right? Like now, you can get Adobe Creative Suite for like 30 freaking bucks a month. That time it was $2,000, and I shelled all that money out because I had to know how to edit. But it was like maybe a year after I bought that, they stopped using CD-ROMs. And then,
CD-ROMs.
I don't know. From like Mark's house, we jumped to Chapel Ridge, and we gave that idea space. And we were there for a while. I remember like Cal and working with Nick. And Nick's like a really old friend that's not impressed with anything that I do. And I like him.
Nick's not impressed.
I like him in my life because he just keeps me grounded. It's like, it's not that I even try to impress him, but it's really humbling because he's known me from being nothing. And not saying that I'm a lot right now, but like he'll walk into the room and just cuts through all the bull crap, you know, like I'll have all these employees around me, like we'll be doing really cool stuff like this podcast. And he just doesn't really care, you know. He comes around. I don't even know why he even comes around. I like him being around.
Why do you come around?
Yeah, he'll crash on our couch, and then he'll just kind of leave, and
with the wind,
and then there he goes, and it's like, okay. I mean, it was good, you know, chill. And we don't even talk about business, really. It's just.
Oh, we usually talk about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
LOTR.
Oh God, do not abbreviate that. God, man, we talk about.
I'm sorry. Back in my MSN Messenger days, if you want to talk about Lord of the Rings, you typed out LOTR.
I don't believe that you ever did that.
Lord of the Rings every time.
Well, we talk about Harry Potter.
Ask my friends from 5th
Hobbit.
grade. I promise.
You abbreviated Lord of the Rings.
I'm not the only one.
I don't believe
I freaking promise you.
But you were never in the Dungeons and Dragons, were you?
No,
okay,
no.
me either. I guess that's the line,
Adventures in
right?
Odyssey told me that Dungeons and Dragons was bad.
Okay. That's what your family listened to.
No, that's what I listened to. And I was
independent then. Super Miss Independent.
Miss Independent.
Oh, God. But I don't know. It was a lot of fun, you know. I guess Nick being around, and then Cal, because I'm trying to do these big things, these big ideas, full of passion. I want to change the world. I'm going to do all this. Nick walks in. Yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like,
that's not going to work.
Look, dude.
Nick, what do you think about this?
That's not going to work.
And then you're like, Nick, you're the numbers guy. And you'll like ask him like this math, and he'll be like,
he is
42. No, wait, 41. And
he is
like,
really
wow.
good at math. You know what? Maybe that's right. Maybe that's the reason he stayed around so long. Because I had so much data to crunch.
Yeah,
and he's really smart. He really is smart.
I like to push myself, so I hang out with John because he asks me questions. It keeps me sharp in my math.
I think he has said that before. Maybe that's the reason. I keep on asking him math questions. And
he's super smart. He's got his master's.
Yeah, he is really smart.
He's like, what's next?
I don't even know. But
That is so much more Nick Wilson talk than I really thought we would ever talk about.
He is
on this
in our
podcast.
lives, man. He just keeps
he's
on coming in and out.
He's a great friend.
He is. I just like that he's not impressed.
I love that he's not impressed.
Because it's just, and I don't know. I don't like this validation thing. And so anyway, we're in Chapel Ridge in that space. Cal is
Nick's
helping me
roommate.
do this. Nick's super unimpressed with everything. And we just are just conquering the world. And then finally, right, we get a shot at another space. And we keep on thinking, are we ready for this? Can we do this? Carol Reed offers this. Now help me out. It's the Northwest
Entrepreneurship Center.
Yeah, and that was offered to us for free for a little bit. And this was a space that encouraged I don't like that word.
Entrepreneurial endeavors.
There you go. And in West Tennessee. And she helped us out a lot, actually. She gave us a lot of business structure.
Absolutely.
And we
holds workshops.
Yeah, and there was 3 rooms available.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we took one room.
Mm-hmm.
And then Katie Smith,
amazing
structure woman, came in, and it got serious. I mean, we started really moving with that.
She was like, okay, well, what's your plan for this? And we were like, this is what we want.
Here's the concepts.
Yeah, concepts. And she was like, okay. And she would just turn it into this organized structure with answers.
She's
and
amazing.
Charts
And I never had a structure person along my side.
I'm not a structure person.
Yeah, we never had a structure person along our side until Tanya came along a long time for that. So it was my first experience working with someone who's extremely structured and was like, okay, that's your goal. Let's build a system to get there.
Exactly.
And man, did I learn the value of that.
Katie just opened up doors.
So we were inside of this space, and it wasn't really that much of a leap though, was it? I mean, this was offered to us for free. I guess it was trusting that we deserve to have it. What do you think about that? Because for me, it was like, I always believe not that I deserve something, but I believe that I can go create it if I work hard. I really believe if a person can work hard enough that they can create anything, especially in America, the greatest country of all, living in this land of opportunity, that you can create anything. And I believe in that. And so I never struggled with taking the leap, but I do think that, I mean, did you ever struggle with saying, I mean, do we deserve this space? I mean, are we ready for this?
Especially if I knew that we had goals. I knew that we had a plan in motion, but some days you're hit with so much red tape, or you're at such a slow place in the process that it's like, I mean, do we even deserve to have this space right now? Because we're not moving at the rate that I would think would justify a space.
Yeah.
If we can't do better than this, we might as well just be in a spare bedroom. But being in that space made us kind of get our stuff together and break down
pressure.
Yeah.
It's like,
it was great. It helped us say, like, yeah, this room is going to be just for product. This room is going to be just
we didn't talk about
this.
that. Like we start off with one room and we expanded to all 3 of her rooms.
Yeah.
And then she said, John, maybe we should think about rent.
And we were like, that's cool. But
totally fair.
yeah, I mean we came to her saying we want to rent, and she said, no, you don't need to rent for a while. She said, we'll discuss it whenever it's time.
So, I mean, it gave us a lot of...
She was exactly what
we needed.
Exactly what the Northwest Entrepreneurship Center is supposed to be, which is a hub. It's a hub space. So it was like a little...
Incubator. I mean, it was an incubator.
Thank you. I was like going back to Jurassic Park, and I was like, those things that hold the incubator.
At least you didn't abbreviate incubator. Why don't you abbreviate incubator? What would you say that it is?
I call it an Inky.
Oh, God.
Inky baby.
Inky baby. I like that. She was perfect for us.
She was a facilitator.
It was so thrilling and just gave so much confidence to be outside of where you sleep for your job.
Yeah.
For your idea.
that you have to get up and then go to a location.
It was so awesome. I can't. It was like every single day. I was waking up so much earlier. I was like, how do I get to work? How do I do? I sat down on that desk. And I was like,
at work.
I was like,
come home from work.
This is so cool.
Things like that.
I loved it so much. And I don't know what it did for me. It was, when you talk about, I mean, have we earned this? For me, it was always like, it did push me. It was thinking, I have to earn this. But I never felt that I didn't deserve it because of the lack of structure that we had or whatever level that we were at. It was always the opposite. Not the opposite. It was all the other end of it. It was thinking, okay, we're here now, done, right? There's no thinking about, should I be here? What is this? What is that? It was like,
that's already happened.
It's already done. It's in the past. We are here. Here we are. Earn it. And that was huge for us. And when we expanded to the other rooms, and then she came back to with an extremely reasonable rate. This was really reasonable. We were like, let's see if we could put that money somewhere else. And we had been talking to Mr. Larry that owned the original Live Oak Properties building for a while. We had wanted to be in this space that we're in now for a long time.
We had daydreamed about this space and created scenarios of us working there for at least a year up to this point.
We had even considered like renting out half of their space, you know, as to ease into it. And they and he was willing to do that for us. But somehow we were able to get this, and we took a jump from not paying anything to now, I mean, really jumping.
$1,000.
I mean, we're talking, expenses every single month.
But
overhead.
To our benefit, not only did the Northwest Entrepreneurship Center house the beginnings of Letters in Motion, it also was the jumping off point for Fernway Fox.
Yeah, that's right. While we were
Fernway
there,
Fox definitely generated some income. And so we began to be in a position to be able to pay that $1,000.
And we had our wedding thing, and then we started Fernway Fox, which is
You say wedding thing. Weddings bring in money.
I know.
Since day one, they have brought in money, and I just don't want to undersell that.
I appreciate you saying that.
Because
I mean, we've shot over, now it's over 170 plus weddings. I mean, we have a huge setup. We can send out 3 crews at one time. We have over $60,000 worth of gear. It's a big thing.
It's a huge operation.
It is a very big operation.
People don't even know.
I know all the work that we went into it, all the websites, everything.
But
I'm just saying, I'm focusing on. It's just something that I've been doing for 10 years.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like it's.
It seems like it's extra because it's figured out.
But it is. We could just
and
do
yet
that
we
and
continue to get better.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have to cheer on you.
I appreciate it. I
got
do.
A wedding this weekend.
It is. It's a wedding's tomorrow. We're filming this pretty late in our studio on Friday night, and I don't, and I don't want to sound disgraceful. I feel a little bit bad for phrasing it like that. Okay, you've made me feel bad.
Small operation.
Mission accomplished. I don't want to I don't want to discredit the team. I don't want to disrespect what we've built. It's just a very common thing for me, and we could just do weddings and just live our life. We would not need anything else. We could just live.
But we could do it.
No, it wouldn't be tight. Like, we would be totally fine doing that, but we really invest a lot of that into growing Coffeehouse a lot faster, into doing stuff like this. And we have extra income to launch. Yeah, it's a springboard. Anyway, we started Fernway Fox, which is a media design and production business. That's a full service marketing agency. Everything that we learned from running a wedding company
and from Letters in Motion
and from marketing for Letters in Motion.
Yeah, that we were like, hey, we could offer this to local businesses.
And we did.
And
then we put it to nonprofits. And then we got paid to travel to Nepal.
And it was like, are you seriously paying me?
Private planes to go out to these villages. We were getting some work done, buddy, for some big nonprofits. And then I went to London with it. I went to Ireland with Fernway Fox.
Right?
No, this is Fernway. Yeah, I was working with a guy in Ohio. He was doing a book tour that we promoted. And I got to fly to Ireland to do a lot of book promoting with him. I got to be able to do all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that's just Fernway. Like, we were able to travel a lot with that and to do a lot with that. And we decided to officially make that big jump into this new space. It's very intimidating. How'd you feel about it?
I felt like we're just a couple of kids. Even like I felt like we were so established and we were so big in that tiny little space. And then as soon as we get to this big space,
Yeah.
I just felt like I was just a child.
I love that feeling. I love that feeling like, what the crap am I going to do now?
Looking back at those images, and I made a post about it today, part of me was embarrassed at that time.
Oh.
Because I saw what it was.
Like,
it was just
wait,
a
hold
shell.
on. Let me pause for a second. You were embarrassed looking back?
No.
Or are you embarrassed when we started?
I was embarrassed when we started.
I was never embarrassed.
I know. You were shameless.
I was
And you were like,
shameless.
look what we have. And I was like,
No.
but you see, and you were like, be proud of where we are. And I was
Yeah.
like, I am, but
I've never struggled with embarrassment. I've never struggled with shame. I've never let that paralyze me, cripple me, or hold me back from seeing the future or being all present on where I'm at. I have never been embarrassed of what I have or where I'm at.
And if I had not been with you, with your fearless, relentless mindset and your belief,
Yeah.
then I never would have gotten past that tiny shell.
You must claim what you want. You must state what you want to become and walk down that path to get there. No one ever is automatically something, and people want to watch a journey.
I understand that, and I believe that now. But at the time, I thought, I cannot declare what is not already here.
Well, you must declare it for it to even exist. Do you believe that now?
I
Do you
working
believe
on it
Oh,
now.
See, it's
I'd rather
you've come a
say,
long way. I don't want to discredit
this is
that.
what I want, and this is where I am, and watch me get there. But then it was like, we have nothing.
We really didn't. I mean,
and this
that
is
was a
what we're going
big
to
space.
be. And no, and this is what we are.
Yeah.
We have nothing, and this is what we are. And I was just not comfortable with that combination.
I don't know. I've always been a salesman, though. I feel like I've always been able to
You have always been
look
a
past
salesman.
what we have.
And the thing is we got better with each sale, if you want to put it that way. We got better every time.
I mean, we were working on campaigns that were double digits. I mean, we were working on big stuff, and I
know.
always felt prepared. I don't know. I always believe that. Yeah, I can do that.
I am incredibly proud of some of our work.
Gosh, that's
then.
fine. I don't know why I
I'm
get upset.
talking about
That's fine.
I'm talking about like that early like shell of a building work. Okay? I'm
It's just-
talking like
Okay. I mean, that's fine. It's not bad to feel that way. It's really not, because
but
it's
I'm
like
really just proud now.
I'm always proud.
I know.
Like I was proud then, and I was proud now.
I know. Like that's my point. You're like, I'm proud now. Well, I'm always been proud. Well,
The thing
I
is, it's like,
know.
okay, so we're in the top part of Martin Coffeehouse. This is where the Fernway Fox studio, Letters in Motion, all the stuff, right? Everything's inside this one space. We have a nice little room in the first part. Not super nice, but it's okay. And then in the other room upstairs is this massive storage space. And it's rough. And there's just shelving everywhere. Right now, I can think about what this is going to be. I can see the loft. I see the staircases. I see a beautiful, like, soundproof studio that we're going to be in. I see all the cameras hanging on the wall. And then I see another building with a roastery, and I see all this. But at that point, when we do have all that, I will be equally as proud as we have it now, because I am where I want to be. I want the growing pains. I want to be in this state that I can grow in.
right.
When I'm in a place where I'm at is physically too small, where my ideas can't grow.
Busting at the seams.
Yeah, I hate that. I never want to be busting at the seams. I don't ever want to be on top of the world. I always want there to be a little bit more mountain in front of me. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. And it really shows in the way that we approach that downstairs space. We would roll around on those chairs
Oh,
and
so much
like
fun.
race each other like, oh, I'm
loved
tired
it,
from
man.
editing. I'm tired of working on this commercial. I'm tired of working on this script, whatever it is.
I'm
It's
just
like,
having fun.
let's just have a race with the team for 10 minutes. And we would just like order the
Pizza. Lots of pizza.
lots of pizza, lots of Hunan Palace, and just roll in our rolly chairs all the way across the floor. and rolling the rolly chairs all the way back. We had a TV in there. We had a couple of couches.
It was so empty.
It was so empty. We're looking for ways to fill it. And
then you had the idea. The idea,
John, that this is a beautiful space, but it is not a studio. This is a coffee shop.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And we drew it out on some sketch paper. And
I still have. Do we still have that? I have a picture of it.
We have a picture of it. And we said, this is what we need to do.
And guess what we were? Fearless. I was fearless. I was like, you know what? We're going to be the best freaking coffee shop. We knew zero.
Oh my God, but we had Fernway Fox and Letters in Motion and all that stuff and Fox Weddings.
How hard could coffee be? We wondered.
But downstairs still. What? And we just thought this coffee shop will... It's not that this coffee shop will never be so busy that we can't stay down here with our businesses.
Oh, yeah. Our computers were there in the kitchen because we didn't really have a kitchen.
The thought was like, oh, they'll be inspired that we're creating something like your cup of inspiration.
Okay. It was, I remember going to Nashville and there was a workplace. No, it was in Jackson. It was
Knoxville.
Okay, you're just throwing cities out. It was it's called The Co. It's in Jackson.
Yeah, that's in Jackson.
Yeah. The Co in Jackson. And there's like a little coffee bar in there. And then there's all these like workstations around them. And then there's people doing things, working on their craft, and then having coffee. And I thought, well, we could do something like that. Not the whole like co-working space, but
we'll be the co-working space because
they can just watch us. And I remember I was very much convinced. I was like, people love to be around people who are doing things. Like, either go to a construction site. Oh my gosh, I love construction sites. You're just like watching people work. I want a bulldozer so bad. One day, I swear to God, I will own a bulldozer. This is off the topic.
I am not we're
talking about coffee. Well, I'm going to have it. You cannot have it. That's going to be okay. I'm going to have my land. I'm just going to go push down some trees, conserve the trees. Never mind. I'm going to push them down. I am going to push them down and dig a pond and build underground bunker. It's going to be great. Oh, her face is like, if I could describe Courtney's face, she's equally mixed with, what the crap are you talking about? And how do we get back on topic? So we thought that people would love to watch us work.
You thought.
Okay, I did, and I was wrong.
But I'm not going to be pinned down for this.
Fine. We quickly found out that the coffee shop was very much more complicated than we thought, and it overtook everything. But it really was the way to impact. It was this idea, so, letters in motion, and then how do we get students over there? So we took student trips to Nepal and Kenya, but we needed a way of making a difference inside of Nepal in a sustainable way. And Courtney just so brilliantly was like, duh, it's coffee. Coffee is the conduit. Coffee is the way to impact. We donate 10 cents of every cup, right, to make an impact inside of Nepal. And that's what we're going to be doing.
That was my idea.
Yeah. And then it was like, okay, well, we can still work down here, right? Because I didn't want to give up my freaking studio.
Yeah, you were like, I've worked, like, this is my space.
This
and
was
now
it
you're
for
coming
me.
in with your coffee shop.
Like, I wanted, and really, I'm thankful for the coffee shop. This was your idea. But I really wanted this whole space to be filled with studio backdrops, with like really cool stuff that you would find in New York. I wanted an awesome creative lab almost, where I could create all these commercials and do all that. This was my shot, in a sense. And Fernway Fox has always taken a back seat to the physical demand of coffee. And it just pushed us till we were eventually pushed out.
Yeah, for a long time back there with the refrigerators.
I was back there in the kitchen editing commercials that were making 10 times what the coffee was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like Tanya, like so supportive Tanya.
Tanya with us the whole time.
Amazing Tanya. And she would just kind of look at me. She'd be like, so, people keep on bumping into me while they're getting milk out of these fridges. Do you think that maybe we can get it just like somewhere else? Can we move back to Miss Carol's? Miss Carol's was closed up. Other people moved in there, so we couldn't. And we're like, oh, Mark Coffeehouse, we got to buy an espresso machine. Oh, we got to buy an ice maker. Oh, we probably need to buy like another batch grinder. Oh, we need to buy. We're talking 200.
Plus, everyone needs you.
Oh
I mean,
God, I
you
was
were
so
working
bothered.
shifts, but then whenever your shift was over, people needed you. Like, oh, is John here? Is John here? Hey, people just going back there to the office to see you. You're like, now you're in our kitchen, and it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, it was.
embarrassed.
I wasn't though.
I mean, looking back, it's funny, but I was embarrassed at the time, and
It was just cool, man.
it's kind of embarrassing
Like
now.
no one had done that. I'd never seen someone be so transparent.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen someone be like, you can walk like, and now it's official. Like we're doing really well with the
Yeah.
coffee shop. We have 2 coffee shops and all that stuff. But
Did we move from the downstairs kitchen to this space up here and then down the street to Miss Vicky's, or did we go straight from downstairs to Miss Vicky's?
I don't remember. No, we were,
I think we were here for a quick chapter.
but there's like no AC or
No,
something.
like there wasn't AC in here. Like we hadn't cleaned it up. It wasn't painted. Like
Okay, the problem
it
was there
damaged.
was an
There
old.
weren't lights.
There's like a 20-year-old AC unit up here, but there were no lights. You're right. Like all these lights were like busted or something. And then
We replaced all of these.
I did replace. Yeah. So none of them worked. And then there's so much storage in here, so we had to reorganize all the storage, label everything, and then do that. So yeah, we moved from the kitchen. Gosh, you moved up one of those desks. Remember that?
I thought I was gonna die.
You.
I got pinned.
Okay, you probably were almost gonna die because these desks are super heavy.
These desks are heavier.
And I can't even believe you moved. You're a very strong person. I want to give you credit
am
for that.
strong.
But I was struggling so much.
Well, I was on the bottom. I was pushing up the stairs, and then I was like starting to fall like over the rail kind of thing.
And you just had your mom's strength. You weren't a mom at that time, but you
I
just
wasn't
like
a mom, but I had the
woman
strength.
power.
I had the strength in me the whole time.
Yeah.
If you just
don't sing. No.
believe. This is because it's late, John.
It's not that late. It's like
Right,
11
it's gonna
o'clock
get
or something.
sillier.
Okay, we moved from that space. Why did we do that? Why did we embrace it? We had to move
We
because we
moved
had
up
growing
here.
pains. This is
Moved
what we're
up here,
talking
we were
about.
like, come on, we just got to do it. We've done it before. We've been in a tight space before. We've just got to do it again. This is what Martin Coffeehouse needs. We are in their way.
Yeah.
This was not thinking about what's
We
best
had-
for Fernway Fox.
We had to give Martin Coffeehouse its own space to grow.
Yeah,
we
it needed,
have to do
it
that.
Had it like a tomato plant. It had outgrown its pot,
There you go.
and it needed more space.
And let's go with the contrast of that. Let's think about the contrast. Okay.
You thinking about how Fernway Fox had to shrink?
Yeah,
in the
it
shadow
freaking did.
of Martin
It
Coffee
did,
House.
and it demanded all the money because we borrowed
God,
very
it
little
was
money
just
to
like
do
a-
this.
Like a siphon.
It was a freaking siphon, and like we just gave it everything, and then it became
That's what you
massive.
do to your children.
Listen,
you
just now-
give them everything.
I mean, God, Henry takes everything. Oh my God, I'm joking.
No, the coffee house
Oh.
took everything.
You did all of
And
our time,
suddenly,
everything.
We were taking things from our
Oh
house.
God, yeah. The couches. We didn't have a couch
We didn't
or
have a couch.
kitchen table. No chairs.
We didn't have
No.
anything.
We just now. I mean, we're taking that 3 months ago. Moved back that original coffee table that we had installed in the shop, but we had to give it room, right?
I remember at one point, this was the New Year's of that year, I had an extra mattress or something. Yeah, I had an extra mattress in the living room, and I like put like pillows around it, and like that was like our couch.
Yeah.
And we had a TV, but
That
but
that
the
little
TV
foam
was on
thing.
the floor because the TV was on the floor because the
Oh my God! We
the
moved that little
not coffee the
Walmart TV
entertainment
stand
center.
to the shop.
Entertainment center thing was at the shop for trivia night.
Oh, that's
Like
right.
everything was for trivia
We
night.
had nothing personally. We sacrificed everything.
We just got lower in our voices because Henry's
Henry is, like,
starting to
right there.
wake up.
The reason this is recorded so late is because Henry keeps on waking up. So, but let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a personal question.
There's been a lot of reminiscing, so let's hear
Okay.
it.
We're talking about growing pains, right? Talking about starting something and giving it the room to grow. At what cost do you give that room to grow? Because in a lot of ways, we've experienced these growing pains, but have we given to ourselves? Have we allowed ourselves to grow, our marriage to grow, our family to grow? Are we doing that now? How did you feel? Like, I don't want to get too into it, but I do want to ask you that. Like,
I was all in. I think it shows that I was all in.
And I really love that.
And I mean, at that chapter of our lives of getting the new building, it was not, hey, John, what about me? What about us? That came later.
It did.
And that's more than understandable that did come later.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was like, this is our shot. And I was there with you.
You really were, man.
I was putting in the hours with you.
Yeah, like filling up mortar where the big old cracks in the brick and painting those floors.
And I had no... I mean, I'm talking like I was there with you, Fernway Fox, in this new building, working on commercials.
Did I seem crazy? Because I look back and I think this seems a little bit crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you were standing on the bar, when we had the old, the bar in there that was from the electrical building.
Oh, that was such a cool bar.
Unfortunately.
I hate that we had to lose that.
I hate that too. Who did we give that to?
No, I mean, it wasn't ours. It was like the color shops.
Okay, so they took
they
back.
took it. I mean, it was there. They probably let us like use it, but I mean, we had to get it
so
out of
beautiful.
there.
When you're standing on that and you're like painting on the wall and you're just like, you were standing on that and then you had a stool on top of the bar.
Oh.
And then you were like standing on one foot on the stool and you're just like, I'm like, this is a jungle gym for this boy.
I loved it.
Like, this is a child. Forget about your travels.
I was making thousands.
Doesn't matter. Forget about it. You were a boy and you were playing.
I'm not going to deny it. It was so adventure filled.
I cannot believe how high you would climb on these ladders. And you were just acting like an episode of Recess. Like you were like, this is the jungle gym. Like
running around.
And you're just like crazy.
I can't tell you how thrilling it is. Like I have felt like Martin, Tennessee, everything is risky. I have to keep on saying that, business is very risky. This has not been easy for us.
We did have a crutch of a very successful wedding business.
Yeah, and we fell on that. And I don't encourage anyone to take your life savings out and go shoot something, shoot your shot, right? I don't think that we should be making light of this. But in my experience and like what my story is, Martin, Tennessee has been a lower risk than like Chattanooga or Knoxville. You're talking 10 times the amount to buy. It's like over $1.5 million. We looked at buildings in Chattanooga, like enormous amounts. And those
buildings can get over themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this one was $125,000, and the other one went down the street was like 60, 70 something. And so that's very serious, and that's a lot of money. But is it 80,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, think about like $1 million. Like, come on. Like, this has been a playground for me.
Happen.
This has been a playground, and I've gotten to try so many business ideas.
And in the end, we've respected the building and made the building better.
Yeah.
It was just a very hilarious journey while you're respecting the building and while you're trying to like make it ours.
I wonder what people thought of us, Court. Did they
I
think that we were
what
crazy?
People thought of us. They thought we were crazy children. And then when we finally got the chairs that we have
hold
now.
on. I know we're getting late, but I gotta say this one story. Do you remember? Okay, this is so awesome. Fernway Fox bought the building, okay? Or Magnolia Properties or whatever, bought the building. We're in there with Fernway Fox. You decide with us, we're gonna do Martin Coffeehouse, right? Chocolate Crawl comes around. We have the old electrical desk, right, in there. And we have
bar. We've been
and we have this like parchment paper. No, it's like art paper. And you drew on it with a Sharpie, with a blue Sharpie. Purple Sharpie. You draw out little tables. You're like, this is where the coffee's gonna be.
This is a coffee shop.
And then we go to Kroger and we get these chocolate covered, which are really good, cherries and like cranberries.
Yeah, it was the chocolate crawl, and we didn't have any chocolate because we were a media business.
So we go get like bowls.
It was organic. It was good.
And we put them on this bar, and then every person that walks in sees this empty ass building, right? With studio setup, awkward furniture placed throughout.
And they're like,
and then
is this part of the chocolate crawl? And we're like, yeah, come over here.
And then this super peppy girl saying, this is going to be my coffee shop, and this is where the tables are going to be. And
I'm so excited to meet you guys. And
like
it's
none of them.
Great. And they're like,
they just looked at us like,
what is this? And I was like, okay, so that's chocolate black currants.
Black currants. Listen, they were awesome.
Those were incredible.
We ordered like 2 pounds too much.
We just ate on
I
those
love
for
those.
weeks.
We should go back and get those. We're focusing on what we did. What did we do? What did we do? We claimed what we wanted to create, and we said that to the public in the only way that we knew how, with purple Sharpie written on art paper. And we said this. You said, you know what? This is going to be a coffee shop. This is going to serve fair trade organic coffee, and this is going to be a big deal. We're going to donate 10 cents. We're going to make a difference. And yeah, it might not be much right now.
You just wait.
But this is where we're going. And I felt no shame. I felt no embarrassment. All I felt was excitement to be in this playground, on this journey, to have access, to be born in America, to have opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And I was having so much fun with you. And you were all in, you know? And looking back, like, I wish we would have had taken some more time for ourselves. Absolutely. But it was just like, I don't like playing a video game, man. It was just like, oh my gosh,
level up.
I felt like that. Level up. We just got a new grinder. I've always said that. Like, I don't play any video games. I don't have any games on my phone. I used to when I was a kid, but I get this thrill out of just operating business and cost analysis and moving things around and buying more stuff.
I'm not going to focus on the fact that you're comparing this all to a video game, because that has gotten me incredibly angry in the past.
Okay, I'm just trying to say,
it's not a game. It's real. It's our life. It's alone.
Listen,
it's
once
bills.
again, I do not want to underappreciate the risk that we have taken and the reward that we have gotten. I do not want to belittle what it is really like to get into business. I'm not saying it's all fun and games. I'm just saying I just had so much fun, man. It was, I mean, think back to that picture. It is on our website.
It's the most embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. God, we looked at people in the eyes, gave them a little black bean filled with chocolate, and said, this is going to be a coffee shop one day. It was so weird. And they believed, no, they didn't believe us, but we proved it and we made it. And now we got featured as one of the top 6 coffee brunch places in Tennessee by TennesseeVacation.com, the biggest tourism website in all of Tennessee.
What, 2 years later?
Put
3
us,
years later?
yeah, in less than 2 years. So heck yeah.
Less than 3 years.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do for the rest of my freaking life?
You're gonna declare.
I'm gonna declare that stuff. I'm gonna get out my paper with my purple pen and my black currant bean of chocolate, and I'm gonna tell them what I'm going to become. Because that's all that I can do, man.
Don, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And it is all that you can do.
It is. And it's like, why live with the restrictions of fear or, oh, I'm not this yet. I'm going to claim that. I'm going to go become that. And I love living my life every single day because I've had the opportunity to do that in America. And I don't know why I'm on this America kick right now.
America is
I just love where I live. I love my town. I love you. I just love
oh my God.
what's going on, man. I'm so encouraged. And I wish that more people would live inside of this freedom of taking a chance, of giving their ideas room to grow. How do you know? How do you know when to grow? It's freaking right now. It is right now. Giving, clearing out a spare bedroom inside of your house and saying, you know what, this is where I'm going to do this at.
Yeah.
It is giving that designation of space. It's saying, I'm worth this much.
Yeah.
My ideas are worth its own space. And without going into debt, without taking risk in that way, do it practically. I'm not saying pull money out of savings and go take a shot. But when it's your time to jump, take that leap. What's the worst that can happen? If Martin Coffeehouse never would have happened, and all the black beans that we gave out never would have, been taken the right way, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
What? They're going to say, oh yeah, those guys never started a coffee shop. I don't give a crap what these guys think. Come on.
Yeah.
Why would I ever live my life, or anyone live their life, by the opinions of somebody else? Newsflash, people don't care that much. They really don't. You're like, most things are just like an afterthought. There's so much noise out there. Courtney, Grace, there's so much noise. And, to live your life by what you perceive that someone might think of you, why?
I love it.
Well, I want to hear your take before we go. I want to hear your take on...
a couple things on knowing when to grow. How do I know when to grow? like you said, right now, but also, is there something you need to commit to, like a schedule? Or for you, I'm thinking about you purchasing that Adobe software.
Okay.
Like, that was expensive. But is there something that has to happen? Is there a class you need to take to get this ball rolling?
What about this? I think you have to prepare yourself. If you're going
That's
to be,
what I'm saying.
yeah, so that's what you're saying.
It's
So
like setting out your clothes so that you have success tomorrow.
there you go.
You're setting yourself up for success. And if that means that, you know, you want to go into cooking and you want to have a restaurant someday, well, start cooking now.
And go shadow people.
Yeah.
Like, go work in the kitchen for free. Like, that's what I did. Like, I wanted to be a photographer. I went and shot weddings for free with other photographers. And then I got a shot somehow, hooked up with another company, and then boom. Like, I worked for free. Like, thinking that you're worth something before going and earning that. That's a big deal. So I say go shadow, prepare yourself, work 3 jobs, don't complain. If you're ever going to like really grow beyond what you have now, you have to expand your capacity to work harder. And the only way that you do that is by taking on more.
And assessing what you already have.
Yes.
What's already in front of you. You don't need to go out and, you know, buy a new software whenever it's literally already at the library for free. So, like, look what's around you.
You're
what
really
are your
hung up on that
resources?
software.
I'm amazed that you spent $2,000 on that. This was before you knew me.
I
Because had
never
you known
lacked
me,
belief in myself.
I would have.
If it cost $10,000, I would have tried to figure out how to spend that.
I just can't imagine spending $2,000 on software.
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, what are your resources?
Yeah.
What do you already have?
Lay everything out on the table. Assess what you have. Let's be really real with yourself right now. What are you good at?
What
What
are
are
you
your
lacking?
skills? What value do you give to the people around you? What do you have to give? What do you got? Where do you want to be? So let's fill in all the gaps while we do not quit our day job. We're working more jobs. We're learning. We're studying from, if you get off work at 5, we're going from 5 to 12, and we're going to develop more skills on what you want to be inside of, right? Once you've done that, you're ready to take the next step. Never blindly jump into anything. And I know we've talked a lot about me seeming like a child and jumping off and being super adventurous.
Childlike joy, John. Childlike joy.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying the childlike joy. And I don't want to like boost myself up at all right now. But there's been a very like thought out strategic plan inside of moving forward. I've done it with childlike joy and jumped all over the place. But I've always had an idea of what we were doing. I've never been afraid of jump beyond that. So
That's true.
Assess what you have. If you need more, which most likely you will, because you're not doing the big thing that you want, let's work on those skills and develop what you need. And then when you're ready, take that shot.
Take the shot.
And do it in small spaces. Clear out the spare bedroom. Go see if there is a co-working space in your area. Get that. Maybe it's $50 a month. Go and do that. There's one popping up in Martin, Tennessee right now called the Reed Center. It's really cool. So get that co-working space. See if there's a really low budget rent that you can pay maybe to get into your own space, and then slowly build from there. Don't jump from your spare bedroom to a $1,000, $2,000 a month building. What happened is your overhead will overtake you, go into debt, and then your business will close down because you're not prepared.
Then you'll have low self-esteem, and then you'll feel like a failure.
Yeah, if you do feel like a failure, that's okay. You want to get over that because you have to have a healthy view of failure and fail often to be able to really grow inside of this journey. There's a lot that I want to unpack, maybe at another podcast, on like the business principles on how to grow. But we're really more talking about and
this was just more of our journey of personal transition from one space to the next, growing each step of the way. And I think next time, we always do this at the end. We're like, next time we're going to talk about this, and we talk about something different totally. But I do later on want to talk about the discomfort of
being comfortable with like a discomfortable,
like how it's important to make yourself uncomfortable to get ready for that next. Maybe that's what you've got to do whenever you're ready to grow, is like instead of staying comfortable where you're at, make yourself uncomfortable and just go for it. So
I love hearing you say that, Because I believe that with every bit of me.
Every fiber in my being.
Yes, every fiber in my being.
Oh no, the Scottish accent's coming out.
I believe in making yourself uncomfortable by placing more pressure on your life in order to push you out to grow more. Because there's some things, and let's let this be the last thing. There are some things in your life that you will only learn by experience. There are some things in your life that you can only learn by external pressure. So there's these pressure points in your life, whether that be I have to make this much money by the end of the month. I have to meet payroll. I have to grow to this level. You'll net all the skill that you'll learn in meeting that goal with that pressure on you is invaluable. You will learn it no other way. That education must be under pressure to be able to be learned. So, if you can know that, and if you can believe that, and then not fear the failure that will come from that, that's a path of growing. That's a path of being inside of an atmosphere that allows you to grow at the rate that is necessary to be successful. I'm not saying that we're successful. We have a lot that we have to work on. I don't consider myself successful yet. We are in the sense of, we're doing this thing. Courtney's a full-time mom. We got some businesses going on. I've not reached my goals yet, but I think that's how you know how to grow, is assessing what you have, being real with yourself, working
Lay it out on the table.
Looking at where you want to grow at, and then slowly making yourself uncomfortable with more pressure to develop those skills to give you all that strength to then leap forward inside of accomplishing your dreams.
That's when you know when to grow.
That's when you know when to grow. Thank you. It has been amazing talking to you guys at 11 o'clock at night.
The first time with our new podcast setup.
You sound great on here. I gotta be honest.
Well, I don't know how you sound because we only have one pair of headphones.
We're getting the other ones. And another mic. We're gonna start interviewing people soon. So that has been the Ag Natural Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting our show. What do you think, Court?
I'm just grateful that anyone cares.
Oh, God.
They do. Some people care.
I know they care.
I'm very
and
grateful.
They should.
I'm very, very grateful. And I'm getting this equipment is a
Big
leap
step.
of faith.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we would have done that had we not had so many people reach out to us and say thank you.
Absolutely.
For, doing this. And so the fact that I know that we've actually brought some kind of value to people with some of these conversations, it's it makes me want to come up with more
Heck yeah.
conversation ideas. It makes me want to come up with more outlines and more people to interview, and it makes me want to get to know this equipment a little bit better.
I love it.
So I'm just excited, and that's why I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in to the Ag Natural Podcast with John and Courtney. We will be back talking about another topic that we don't know right now. We'll see you in the next one.